Supervisors meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Steve Carrianen.
Here.
Kay Wilson. Here. Tweed Schuman.
Here.
Stacy Hessel. Here. Randy Newman is excused. Mark Helwig is excused. Thomas Duffy. Here. Marshall Savitsky. Here. Jim Evans.
Here.
Chuck Van Etten. Here. Jeff Haney.
Here.
John Regheimer is excused. Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Ron Buckholz.
Here.
Dale Magnuson.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is pledge allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 6, meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 7, public comment. Anybody wishing to speak to the board, we ask to stay within 3 minutes. State your name and address. Ms. Linda Zomer.
Linda Zolmer, fourth generation landowner in Edgewater and Sawyer County. And I say that because there are some people in this room that don't feel that I'm a constituent and that I should be recognized. But I watched the Land Water Resource Forest Committee meeting, and I noticed the Johnsons referred to themselves as third generation landowners. When I call myself a fourth generation landowner, it's also acknowledging that I realize my ancestors came here and settled on land from indigenous people. There are people that have been here a lot longer than we have, and we are in ceded territory. So in the past, I had asked for this board to put an agenda item up on a committee to consider doing a land acknowledgement, as many of you have probably witnessed if you've attended conferences or government events or educational events. The items on the agenda tonight I wanted to address are all about land use and land history. I'm not sure if many of you are aware that much of the county forest that counties owned all came back to the county on back taxes. It wasn't something that counties went out and acquired. It was after the initial harvesting and then the land was just abandoned. Somewhere in the past, previous county boards were pretty smart. They put mineral rights. They took the mineral rights underneath those parcels. And then there's also an agenda tonight where you're going to be asked to release some rights for land that was formerly county forest but was sold for the purposes of potentially growing wild rice. One thing that has concerned me is Sawyer County has always released those rights with no compensation back. If there are mineral rights on a piece of property, that property may earn hundreds to millions of dollars in gravel, and the county just releases it at no charge. And I don't feel that the proposal tonight, that the county should release the hunting and fishing rights. With the matter of the zoning committee, you should have all received an email from me today with the one quote from Northwest Regional Planning Commission to rewrite the county zoning ordinance. And I would ask that the zoning committee tomorrow not go through that effort. I don't think everybody understands. And anybody want to ask me about the 1973 Supreme Court case that found that one time when Sawyer County did it, it was unconstitutional, and there's really no need for it. But going back to the history of land and attachment to land, I'm not here, it's certainly not for job opportunities or education or cultural events. I was here for the Northwoods that I am the fourth generation enjoyer of. And it really concerns me that the kind of development is not being respectful of our natural resources. And I'm concerned that with the development of a biofuel industry that takes and harvests and collects the slash from harvesting, that is going to cause a lot of environmental impacts that you haven't even contemplated, let alone the operation of the plant and the transport of the fuel. But we will see what happens with that. And I probably wouldn't have even said anything about that, and I haven't so far, even though this has been going on for 7 months. But it really bothers me to drive down a county highway and see large billboards that are selling thousands of acres of land for a third-generation family that has been in forestry. So I can't reconcile in my mind, and maybe on agenda item number 9, there can be an explanation of how we support forest and forestry revitalization when we are selling off forest lands to be parcelized. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak to the board? Hearing none. Number 8, recognition of outgoing county board members. Can I have Mr. Duffy and Mr. Magnuson come around the front, please? You want to go with them, please? Yeah. You want to read them when you're up there? Can I have the rest of the county board to come back behind Mike, or Ron Buckles and I? We're going to take a picture. The paper's not here. Alex can take a picture off the phone. Oh, face that way, guys. Yeah, face that way. Thanks for coming to take our picture, Mr. Green.
Appreciate it.
Everybody in there? Smiling, looking at me? Keep looking, everybody keep looking.
So in recognition for serving on the county board, first we have Mr. Tom Duffy. Mr. Duffy, how long you been on the board?
Since hell was here.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Well, thank you for serving on the board with us, Mr. Duffy. And Mr. Magnuson? Thank you for taking time to serve on the board for us. It's been an honor working with you both gentlemen. Appreciate it. Tonight, we have the honor of having Mr. Bill Johnson come and speak to us and tell us about the timber presentation. Mr. Johnson, please.
First off, Mr. Chairman, thank you for having us tonight. Appreciate the support of the council or the board for the Forestry Revitalization Act, which was introduced on September 22nd of last year. And, we've had a good week with the legislation. And with that, I'm actually going to turn the floor over to Representative Green to give a quick update on where the legislation is.
Well, thank you guys for having us. And again, thank you for supporting this legislation. I'm Representative Chance Green. I was the author in the assembly for this legislation, and we have had a long fight battle for the last, this project's been going on for about 4 years. So to see it come to a close is very fulfilling and exciting for what is to come to northern Wisconsin. Currently, the legislation has passed both the House and the Senate with a ton of bipartisan support. There were 7 legislators out of 132 that voted against it. They are all registered socialists. So at the end of the day, if socialists think it's a bad idea, it must be good legislation. Yeah, so not to make anything political, but yeah, anyways, so now it is headed to the governor for him to sign. Bill and his team has been in contacts with the governor, and will hopefully, he seems to be on board and signing that, and hopefully we will know soon that he signs that legislation. I'm just here to kind of elaborate on what it does. Again, so this will bring a $1.5 billion plant to Sawyer County. We are currently offering $120 million in tax credits through the WEDC, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And we will, like I said, if the governor signs this offer will go on the table to hopefully incentivize them to come here and operate in Wisconsin. A lot of concerns from taxpayers, of course, is what are the safeguards? Well, there are a ton of safeguards in this to protect taxpayer dollars. At the end of the day, if they don't have reoccurring operations for 12 months, we can claw back those tax incentives. If they change the business model of the operations. We can claw back our tax incentives. There are safeguards, WEDC operates, they do this throughout the state. A ton of safeguards to protect taxpayer dollars. Everything has to go through WEDC for approval. So a lot of oversight when it comes to that. A few other safeguards that WEDC requested for this project were letters of intent from not only people who provided the product for the business, but the buyers were also required to write a letter of intent. That is all being taken care of through Johnson Timber and their operations and their team. But those are some of the safeguards that WEDC required for this. So those are all in place. Like I said, this is headed to the governor's office for signing. He has seemed to be on board and been privy to all the information as we've kind of negotiated this through the Senate and the Assembly. And with that, that is where we're at. So I appreciate you guys' support again, and I'll turn it back over to Bill to elaborate a little bit on what the future holds, so.
Thank you.
All right, so as the representative said, we are working with a company out of Switzerland called Synthec Fuels to build a $1.5 billion biomass to sustainable aviation fuel here in Hayward. The project, as Chan said, has been years in development and has been a lot of fun to work on. The timber industry is in a bad place and has been for especially the last 6 years. We've lost, I can't even count how many mills anymore in those last 6 years, but it's about 3.5 million tons of wood use in the state. This project will bring about 900,000 of those tons back online or back into a market for our loggers, our truckers, to be able to cut haul, and our landowners to sustainably manage their property. It's something that's much needed. And DJ Aderman will be up shortly from Futurewood Corp., our sister company, to talk a little bit about the forest health side of this initiative. But this is really about rural economic development. It's about finding what's the next best use of wood. Pulp and paper has made this state for the last 100 years, but those pulp and paper mills are closing or they're converting over to recycled fiber, and we're not utilizing our forest, again, for forest health. This industry has helped so many counties, school districts, rural towns, to be able to be at the forefront, really, of figuring out what might be that next 100-year future for our forests, for our rural economies is really quite honoring. So let's a little bit more about the plant. 185 jobs will be created directly at the facility. Chance, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys through WEDC estimated this to be about 2,000 to 2,200 jobs spread across the state. This project, 30 counties affected by this, not just Sawyer, but being the base, Sawyer will certainly see the biggest economic impact. It's just needed to be able to continue in this great industry. Ms. Ilmer misspoke. I'm not third-generation landowner here in Wisconsin, Sawyer County. It's much deeper than that. Third-generation president of Johnson Timber. I've grown up in this industry. This industry's been good to our family. It's been good to a lot of folks here in Sawyer County. And we feel this project is the opportunity to bring pride back into a dying industry, to revitalize generational businesses that operate throughout the state and here in Sawyer County. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional just thinking about what the impact this is going to have on the local area. And that's what I'm going to do right now is kind of turn it over, let DJ Aderman from Futurewood Corp. Talk a little bit about forest health and then the state of our forest here in the state. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. As Bill indicated, I'm DJ Aderman. I'm the president of Futurewood. Futurewood is the wood procurement professional forestry services arm of Johnson Timber. Been very, very fortunate to grow up here, come back here and work my entire career. and I guess see the impact of what Bill was talking about here with the industry. And 900,000 tons. I've talked to a lot of people. I talked to loggers, talked to landowners, just people. It seems like a big volume, and it is a big volume. But I think the really neat thing with this project is the opportunity. You take a look at what LP did when they came here in 1979, and I remember the concerns that the people had at that time, and the rumors are going to be here 10 years and they're going to liquidate the forest and they're going to take off and disappear. Here they are, 46, 47 years later, one of the mainstays of our community. What Bill alluded to the last 5-6 years, when you take the Park Falls closure, Wisconsin Rapids, Buren, Duluth, and now we got the announcement here 2-3 weeks ago that the Mosinee mill is going to shut down. We have lost 3 million green tons of fiber. This project that we're working on right now, it's going to be a lot more than I think a lot of people think. When you can go out there and we can use mill residuals, we can use bark, we can use sawdust, we can use unmerchable tops, we can use multiple species. We did when we were at the Park Falls mill from 2008 to 2013, we did a study with the Forest Products Lab on the elemental analysis of the 15 primary species here in northern Wisconsin. And it was pretty neat. You go in there and you look at the effects that the different species of wood have. And that was a really, really good study. And then to kind of have that, if you will, on the shelf. And when this group came along, and it was Fisher Tropes that we had done the work with, was pretty exciting. And I think when those folks from overseas came here, they saw the infrastructure that we still have here. They were out west. They were trying to put a plant out west for the last few years. And the infrastructure out there, a lot of federal land, I think a lot of uncertainty depending on the administration that's in the office, on what are we going to be able to log or what we're going to be able to do. Out west, they've lost a lot of industry in the past. They came here and they saw logging trucks, they saw contractors, they saw available land. And, for me, it's pretty exciting when you can take a look and the involvement, when you take back, I look at Steve Carey-Iden here and his experience with LP, and back in the 90s when they were doing best management practices for water quality, and the industry led, some of the charge on that, and we worked with folks from the Nature Conservancy and a lot of different environmental groups to make sure that we're doing a really, really good job. Third-party certification started coming in, Forest Stewardship Council, SFI, all these third-party groups that we've had to be audited by for the last 25, 30 years. And we're meeting the standards. It isn't the old days of the 1800s where you're going to come in here and it's going to get raped and pillaged and the land is going to have this major setback. Sawyer County has an allowable cut. They can't cut any more, and we're not going to put any more pressure on Sawyer County or anybody else. But it's the 30 counties that we have, we have the opportunity in our projection. We're going to use a 150-mile radius of this facility. Now, I think under the bill, 80% of that material has to come from Wisconsin. But if you take a 150-mile radius, that's a huge, huge impact on where you can go. And the state's not going to do anything more with their allowable cut. The Forest Service has got allowable cut. You got a whole bunch of landowners in the managed forest law that can't get their property cut right now because we just simply don't have any markets. And those are mandatory practices, and the state is I think really trying to welcome any opportunity to help these landowners manage their timber. It's going to be no different. We're going to be under a third-party certification, this Corsia standard. We think it's going to be probably a little bit more stringent than what the county currently sees right now with FSC and FSI, but we're not worried about it one bit. Those certification bodies are constantly evolving, they're constantly changing. One of the requirements in that deal is they call it a cascading requirement that we can't take veneer logs and saw logs and poles, like utility poles and saw bolts and stuff like that and use that kind of material. That material has to go to the existing industry that's already here. And that's not the intent of this project at all. If we can go out there and utilize these tops, and that kind of thing, we have biomass harvesting guidelines. There are certain sites up here in northern Wisconsin, we can't take the tops. They're nutrient poor soils. Those sites have got to retain a certain amount of debris and stuff on there. So I think, I think there's a lot of information out there that we can share with the public. I'm excited about it because I think the opportunity is going to be really, really great when you take a look at the impact and the support that we've got really in this entire northwest part of the state into Minnesota. UP of Michigan's looking at how they can be involved. When we were at Park Falls, I think we bought residuals from 30 different sawmills at that time when we were doing the cogen boiler over there. That was a great project too. We took that project and we burned more wood at Park Falls. In fact, I think we got up to close to 200,000 tons equivalent, roughly a fourth or just shy of a fourth of what this project would be by burning more wood. And we utilized tops at that time. We called them fuel rods. We had to pay the loggers more. The landowners got paid. The truckers had to be paid more because it was real light material that came in on the trucks. But we took our coal usage at Park Falls from 78 tons a day usage down to 23 tons. So a carbon footprint, I guess if you look at it from an environmental standpoint, there's a lot of wins here that are going to come forth that we're going to hopefully educate the public with. So I'm excited about it. Willing to take some questions. I don't know, Bill? Anything else?
Do we have questions that we wish to ask them?
In terms of, a question regarding, we've seen some pretty large fires over the years where wood that would normally go to a sawmill wouldn't qualify because you can't market the residues from those, et cetera, to the paper mills because they won't take any charred wood. And will you be able to use that with the European, whatever standards they have for not utilizing?
Yes, I'm not sure on the char. We don't know what the impact will have on the process there. I think the one thing that I will probably share with you is, we've got the emerald ash borer going on, we've got oak wilt, and, we've had some storm damage stuff where the fiber gets too twisted up or gnarly and they can't use it, say, at the regular pulpwood mills. So we can use that stuff. And we're going to be sending product out this summer to be tested and kind of verified. But that's something I think we can get back to you on at least char. So.
Thanks.
I had a question. Many people have approached me about an environmental impact statement, and when does that occur and published?
You want to talk about the process?
Yeah, we're good. We've been in talks with the DNR. We'll begin hopefully permitting here shortly, and all that will be required in that, as well as with the certifying bodies over in the UK. And yeah, we're be very transparent with all the agencies that we need to be.
Is all the infrastructure for this going to be in Sawyer County?
For the facility itself, yes, it'll all be in Sawyer County.
How are they going to ship all this out of here? Are they just going to use the roads and trucking, or are they going to reactivate that rail line by you guys, or?
So the plan that's in place right now is to put all the fuel into what's called ISO tanks, basically a container with a fuel cell or a container frame wrapped around a fuel cell. That'll be put on truck and sent to the port of Duluth and then shipped over to the UK into the EU via vessel.
How many jobs are you going to bring in? Or would this bring in, I should say?
It's like I said, it'll be 185 between the Syntec Fuels biorefinery facility and the Johnson Timber wood processing forestry operation side. And then, Deej, I don't know if you want to guesstimate on loggers and truckers?
equivalents, I'm not, it's probably 20 crew equivalents, but I mean, it's just, again, it's just going to be utilizing, I think, the species better. I think one of the things that I'm excited about, Marshall, is the fact that they wanted to guarantee, to come here, that they wanted a 20-year guarantee from, say, Sawyer County that we'd be able to provide them the wood. And I said, well, the county or the state or the feds aren't going to give you a 20-year contract to cut timber. But if you give us the tools to go out there and contract with the loggers and the truckers where we can maybe do like a 3 to 5 year contract with landowners and stuff like that, where they can make it financeable, to go and ramp up. So if it's whole tree chipping or additional equipment to get the work done, they were really in favor of that. And so that's one of the tools I think that we're going to use to help secure that future and help these guys rebuild the infrastructure throughout the state.
If it passes the governor's desk, what's like the time frame to build all this? Will it be a 10-year project, 2-year project, or until it's up and running 100%?
It's, I hope I'm being a little conservative on my timing on this. But I expect us to have final financing in place, hopefully by the end of the year. We'll begin permitting with the DNR, which hopefully will take a year, maybe 18 months, and then we got about 3.5 years of construction time. So hoping end of 2030, possibly 31.
Mr. Schuman.
Yeah, guys, I worry about that, utilizing all these tops, and I think that's a great idea, But that seems to me like it's gonna be way more labor intensive. The loads are gonna be less dense, right, than hauling logs, DJ? And how is it gonna be economically feasible to just haul those tops and safety wise? You know what I mean? If there's,
No, I think one of the things that we see now, Tweed, is, when you take Xcel Energy, right now they're taking whole tree chips. You take some of these other facilities like Hibbing up in Minnesota, Laurentian, where they have some of these bigger power plants. They're constantly doing it right now, and so they're keeping, if you will, the debris and the mess out there. When we did the fuel rod program over at Park Falls, we were just taking that stuff, if you will, from that 4-inch down to a 2-inch. We had to pay more for the trucking because they couldn't get a weighted out load. We knew that, but a lot of the landowners wanted the stuff cleaned up. They wanted that out of there. And we were still leaving tops in some branches and debris. We weren't whole tree chipping it, but we were bringing it into the yard and we were drying it out to get the moisture content down to jack up the efficiency in that boiler. So, good question.
I had another point. So I think about 185 jobs. Where are they gonna live?
I look at our organization right now, Johnson Timber, we have employees that are driving an hour. I think it's probably gonna be a radius of 60 miles around the site.
Park Falls Paper Mill is a.
But Park Falls Paper Mill the same way, Louisiana Pacific, I know brings employees from probably over 60 miles. I think the jobs are going to be very well paying, technical jobs, and I think people are going to choose an area that they want to go, and I remember that question was asked, I believe, of Dave Armstrong at the press conference. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chance. Dave is aware of, Representative Armstrong is aware of some developers that are looking to come in and build homes in the area for this project. He's already been contacted, and I believe may have already contacted the city. So I am not sure on that. So Council President Miller saying yes. So I think it gives people an opportunity either to find a cabin that they want to do or a house, or somebody to come in and do some development that is so needed in the area.
That was a concern that I just wanted to express.
Yep. It's been part of the planning process the entire time. Representative Armstrong brought that up in one of our very first meetings.
this like the size of LP?
It's going to be pretty close. I think one of the things that, things are going to change. We have operations there right now at Johnson Timber Future Wood that are going to be shifted elsewhere. So some of that capacity is going to leave to make room for this new capacity.
So it's gonna be a 24/7, 365 business, I'm guessing then, yeah, interesting.
We'll see, yeah.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for taking time to come here and talk to the board. Much appreciated, everybody.
Thanks again for the support. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
We'll move forward. Number 10, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was February 19th.
Motion to approve those minutes. Second.
Motion by Mr. Evans, second by Mr. Van Etten to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 11, zoning committee, Mr. Buckles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The zoning committee has a meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. At the last month's meeting, the committee heard 5 conditional use permit cases and approved all of them with conditions. The committee also approved 1 certified survey map outside the boundaries of an original plat. The zoning committee will hold its, I already read that, so at tomorrow's meeting, the committee is expected to hear 1 rezone case and several conditional use permit requests along with additional discussion related to the Sawyer County Solar Ordinance and other zoning ordinance amendments. In the zoning office, permits are starting to pick up for those anticipating the spring projects. The zoning department is also undergoing a larger enforcement project using a new aerial imagery comparison, which is discovering multiple violations which are being addressed. And with that, that ends that report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 12, Public Works Committee, Mr. Evans, please.
We had our Public Works Committee meeting on March 11th, and Mr. Schmidt from Maintenance provided a written report on the January county maintenance project. The Sawyer County Airport report was provided by Mr. Leslie, and he stated that there are now updates on the master plan. At the Highway Department, Commissioner Pino updated a committee on February highway patching and brushing. The road bans are on. A speed reduction study was done in the town of Hunter on Highway B. An emergency request for state aid to repair Highway 70 from GG East to the Price line is being considered. Wisconsin counties are asking the state to provide relief for a shortfall in transportation funding via resolution. It doesn't have a number, but that was approved for recommendation to the county board on a motion that carried no negative votes. Our ad hoc committee met on March 2nd. Unfortunately, only 1 tribal member showed. And we attempted to make another meeting on March 16th, but they were unable to because of the snow, I believe. And Mr. Kinsley, Chairman Kinsley, is in the process of trying to reschedule. Board of appointed committee updates, there were none. Correspondence, Mr. Kinsley asked for an update on the Johnson Timber. We got that. And that's about it.
Thank you. Letter B, resolution, transportation funding, discussion, possible action. Mr. Parkman.
Thank you. As Mr. Evans mentioned, this resolution is coming from the Wisconsin Counties Highway Association, and it is to maintain funding for both the LRIP and ARIP programs. LRIP is local road improvement program, and ARIP is agricultural program. So these are both just to maintain the funding that has been kind of dwindling over the years. So we wanted to bring this forward. Many counties are doing this. It's been put out kind of statewide. So any questions?
I do, Mr. Markin. Where would this money come from then to meet this shortfall? From the state?
Yes, it's state funding.
Like
Both
a
the LRIP
like a
and ARIP
reserve,
programs
a
are
reserve
state.
fund or something somewhere that,
We're just asking them to maintain the level of funding. Where that comes from would be up to them.
It's programs out there that they're pushing down to the county, to the towns. The towns are applying for these programs, and it's, the money would be coming from the state for that. Mr. Buckles.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the transportation resolution.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mr. Evans to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 13, Public Safety, Mr. Buckles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met on March 5th. The clerk of courts, register and probate reports, give us a report. Sheriff's Department report, Mr. Rapinski reported the success of the Berkey, gave an update on the 2026 squad cars, and spoke regarding an application for body cam grants. Jail report, Mr. Marotek, or Sheriff Marotek reviewed a written jail report for February with arrests data by race and gender. There was an average of 59 inmates incarcerated with 67% unemployment rate at the time of the booking. One electronic monitoring. The sheriff also spoke regarding an apprehension of a suspect in a missing case from Russ County. Dispatch emergency management. Mrs. Rapinski summarized a written report. She stated that there was an error and submitted in the CAD numbers on the report. There have been 2 full-time dispatchers hired. Emergency management, Sheriff Marotek spoke that the changes in the Berkey over the past 20 years. There was a report from code enforcement. There was one from child support. And emergency service report was given. So with that, that ends my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Buckles. Any questions? Number 14, Land, Water, Forestry, Mr. Carrion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Land, Water, and Forest Resources Committee met on March 11th. And we heard a presentation from Johnson Timber Corporation, and very similar to what we heard tonight. That was followed by a Register of Deeds update from Ms. Peterson. Excuse me, Ms. Thompson. And after that, we had land records and survey reports. And we had a resolution removing certain quitclaim guarantee from Ramey Seed, which will be considered next. Forestry report from Mr. Peterson. 20 active sales in the month of January, about $4.3 million in sold and uncut timber on file. We're preparing for a spring timber sale. And a meeting is scheduled in the next few weeks to get an update on the sale of county's carbon credits. We had a report from the Wisconsin DNR by Mr. Morris on their activity. Motorized trail reports from Mr. Davison. Zoning and Conservation Department, Tim Seidel reported the conservation staff attended the annual Wisconsin Land and Water Conference, March 4th through the 6th. Treasurer gave a report on foreclosed property sales. And that was about it, I guess.
Thank you. Letter B, Resolution 2026, removing certain county quitclaim deed guarantees from the Ramsey Seed Company. Mr. Markran.
Thank you. This is a request from Ramey Seed Company to release the guarantees that are in there. The guarantee is that there were 2. This is from 1971, and it came about in November or December. We got an email from a real estate agent, or no, it was a title company. And they were trying to close on this property. This was discovered that it had this claim on it. So it's a portion of a larger piece of property, as you can see there. The larger piece is outlined in black, and the yellow shaded is what we're discussing tonight. So to be sold, we would have to release this. And I didn't like the idea. So I talked with Greg Peterson, and we looked into it. He looked into it more than I did. He did a lot of research on it and came back. The things I was concerned about was there still wild rice produced on there? That hasn't been the case for quite a while. The second part was how much public use did this have for hunting and fishing? So that's what Greg really dug into, and he did some research. He went out to the property and walked around it, and he was familiar with it. This is right off of 27 south of Ojibwa and east of Exeland. So he knew the area pretty well, and it at one time was county forest, but you can see the area we're discussing is kind of a lowland area. So after discussing with Greg, he said this property isn't used for hunting and fishing very much. It's the access isn't great, and it's kind of lowland. So the next question is, do we want it back in county forest? He said just the topography of it, he really didn't want it back. So that's why we decided to bring it forward to committee and county board to release the guarantee.
So, Mr. Markren, these reserved rights we have on this, is that so the public can access it and use it for hunting and fishing?
That was one of the
wild
uses.
rice
Yep.
gathering? Yeah, then I'd be against it too, giving that up.
And that's why it's taken this long, because I really wanted to verify if it was or wasn't being used.
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Markren, that's down in the town of Meadowbrook. And there's a dam in there that the DNR condemned. Our township is liable for the culverts that run underneath that road. And I've been waiting for Ramey Seed Company and Guy Rosado, the realtor, to get back to me on what they're gonna do, because it was my understanding that they're gonna rebuild the dam and then it was gonna go up for sale. So I was not aware of this until you brought it up. So how's that gonna work?
I wasn't aware of that part of it. So if that was supposed to happen before the sale, we would have to write that into the condition of this.
Because I know and I don't even remember, I mean, them culverts were put in there a long time ago. They're condemned, they're rotted out. I closed down the road to an only 5-ton limit, the town board did, because them culverts, any logging trucks or whatever might end up down below them culverts. So I've been waiting for a call back from Mike Ramey and Guy Rosado, the guy that's trying to sell it. I mean, like I say, they don't get no wild rice out of it no more. There's no fish in there. I mean, it's a good sanctuary for the swans, geese, and the ducks. But I guess I have concern here now on this, how this is gonna go. I wish they would have called me and let me in on this.
You know anymore?
If I remember right, from our committee meeting, Mr. Ramey was on the line, and I believe he mentioned there's $50,000 reserved for the culvert.
Yeah, that's right. He
repair.
did say that. Yep.
Yeah.
But last time I talked to Mike Ramey, he told me he wanted the town to put up a fence around that dam and go east on the Hog's Back, and we wouldn't do it. So he was saying that he doesn't want to come up with the money to replace them culverts. So, and that's the last I've heard about anything, so I'm just waiting for all that to get back to me so I can find out, because if we have to replace them culverts, and the place that we can get them, there's only one place in Spooner that gets them that size, it's gonna take us 8 to 10 weeks to get them culverts made and shipped. So I don't know.
Do you have any idea as to the cost involved in that, perhaps?
No, I don't. The only concern that I had is what's going underneath that road, because that's a town road.
Maybe we should table it for a moment.
Yeah, we could table it.
I wish, because I got all the contact information, and I would like to talk to Mike Ramey and Guy Rosado myself to see what they're trying to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember him saying that, now that you mention that the buyer was getting a $50,000 cash back
Okay.
to take care of that.
All right. Thank you.
What's the wish of the board? Should we table it a month so you can get your answers and we come back, or do you want to take care of it now?
Well.
If I was in your shoes, I'd want to table it.
I'll make a motion to table it if I can.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Carrigan, second by Mr. Buckles to table in 1 month and get your answers.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 15, Finance Committee, Ms. Hessel.
All right, the Finance Committee met on March 12th. The Treasurer's Report, Mr. Lehner provided a written report on tax collections and delinquent parcels. The department sent out 1,600 delinquent notices in February. Finance Department report, Randy reviewed monthly sales tax revenues, budget performance reports for December 2025 and February 2026, and February CIP purchases. Department finance updates, Child Support Department, review for 2025 and February 2026 financials for the Child Support Department. 2025 reviews came in at 113% of budget. 2025 expenses came in at 92% of the budget. February numbers are on track for this department. HHS Department, Randy reviewed 2025 and February 26 financials for the HHS Department. Finals for 2025 reviews came in at 108% of budget, expenses at 111%. February numbers are on track for this department. The January investment report was provided. Interest rates are dropping. County CD investments are still holding above 4%. Mr. Markram presented a resolution other counties are adopting to request the ability to increase the levy beyond new net construction and tie to CPI and 3.5% cap. There was a motion presented and it passed without a negative vote for that resolution. We had a closed session, and then the correspondence report was, Ms. Klein reported that the clerk and treasurer attended the WCCO conference in Madison, where they spoke with Senator Quinn and Fine to support of the Forest Revitalization Act. Mr. Lerner heard updates on Acts 217 and 235 from Andy Phillips of WCA and Altos Law, and we adjourned.
Thank you. Letter B, resolution, CIP legislation action to address county funding.
Thank you. So as Ms. Hessel mentioned, we did look at this this resolution in finance. This is something that was put out that several counties are adopting. I did customize it to Sawyer County with our numbers in there. What this would do would be to, in place of net new construction being the allowable increase in the revenue limit, typically that for Sawyer County has been 1.2 to 1.4%. Obviously, our expenses increase more than that. This is asking the state to tie it to CPI with a cap of 3.5. I support it because of the cap, because 2 years ago, I think CPI was over 8%. That I wouldn't support. But with the cap in there, I think it would be good for the county. What it would do in essence is kind of level the playing field between the revenue limit allowable increase with shared revenue increase. Shared revenue is tied, I believe, to sales tax increase, sales tax revenue increase statewide. So this would kind of be linked with that. Sawyer County, along with many northern counties, are very dependent on local property tax versus shared revenue. statewide, it's about 85% property tax versus shared revenue. But we get virtually no shared revenue because of our property valuation. So this would kind of level that playing field a little bit because the shared revenue does increase at an amount similar to CPI, but revenue limit is tied to net new construction. And when we have a county where our valuation is growing just because of appreciation, that makes it even harder to get a net new construction out there because you're always, the target is raising, I guess I would say. Because we grow sometimes double digits just by that. We don't get any money from that, but that makes it that much harder to actually get a net new construction amount.
Mr. Schuman.
So this would essentially then raise the levy limit where we get taxed more?
Potentially, yes. With a cap.
But the cap is twice what net new construction is every year.
Twice what we've experienced, yes.
Wishes of the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the CPI legislation action to address county funding challenges.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Hessel, second by Mr. Van Hetten to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman Kinsley?
Yes.
The action coming out of closed session, I did not address. And so there was action coming out of closed session from finance. The motion was made to separate the finance department from administration, and that was carried without a negative vote.
Thank you. Moving forward, 16, Health and Human Services. Ms. Wilson.
So Health and Human Services met on March 10th. Ms. Gauger updated the committee on the clinic and supplemental housing project and a new shuttle bus for the elderly unit at LCO. The Senior Resource Center had a written report providing information on Adopt a Senior program where citizens can sponsor Meals on Wheels for seniors. And they'll be getting out additional information as soon as Joey gets it all organized. The administration, we reviewed some of the acronyms and terms, and the organizational chart has been updated with staffing changes. There's been some retirement and some people moving laterally, and so Julia updated that chart. She reviewed the strategic plan and updated the committee on staff engagement efforts, staff appreciation, and new revenue streams coming in. They hope to have another staff training day on May 13th. For Aging and Disability Resource Center, she focused on assessing environmental health hazards and training of staff for forensic interviewing necessary for court when Adult Protective Services steps in on a case. For behavioral health, there was a written report. Ms. Carlson discussed changes in OWI assessments. There were 5 last month, and efforts to get CCS staff trained. A part-time mental health substance use disorder person was hired. And there were 4 referrals in February. She also revised the 2026 CST grant to broaden the referral services from the youth diversion program to include all internal departments as well as outside agencies, as Sawyer County has witnessed a growing trend of hospitalizations among children and adolescents following crisis contacts with school personnel, local law enforcement, and contact crisis providers. Many of these hospitalizations occur both voluntarily and involuntarily, underscoring the urgent need for enhanced community-based interventions. The Children's Services Team Program is designed to address these challenges by fostering robust collaboration among all interagency departments. The CLTS, which is Children's Long-Term Support Waiver Program, At this time, there are 60 clients enrolled in the program with 1 discharge and no suspensions and 4 referrals. The community support and mobile crisis, the community support services had 45 assessments in the January 2026 report. 8 were court-ordered, the rest were voluntary. The mobile crisis received 12 calls. There were 7 assessments, and 5 were resolved by telephone. Children, Youth, and Family Services, Ms. Lyon reported that CPS received a grant funding for in-school assemblies on sexploitation, social media bullying, vaping, and suicide prevention. The students were engaged, and Ms. Lyons concluded that the target age should be lowered to help vulnerable youth. Youth Justice had 3 referrals in January, and there are 35 active clients. The Youth Diversion and Truancy, I don't think there was a report, but a usual report was provided. Economic Support, the Northern Income Maintenance Consortium written report was provided. There were 1,063 food share cases, 1,775 recipients for a total of $274,442 in benefits. There were 7,025 calls for the consortium with over a 90% success rate with their calls. And it was also noted that information on all services are publicly available. For public health, Ms. McCallum provided a written report. Respiratory illness, influenza, and COVID-19 activities are high and stable in January, but have decreased at the time of this meeting. There are 2 cases of measles in Wisconsin and 1,136 confirmed nationally in January, with 145 additional national cases confirmed at the time of the meeting. The department sent out mailers recommending vaccination of children. Sawyer County is low in their vaccination rate of 71.5%, and 95% is needed for herd immunity for this, for measles. The agent of state staff completed 69.7 of its licensed facility inspections as of February 27th. Their year ends June 30th. They also, on February 23rd, had an annual contract review for non-community water systems with the DNR. And that happens annually. And then every 5 years, they have a sanitary survey that is necessary. And they completed 33 sanitary surveys, 137 site visits, and 37 are due in 2026. Ms. Lyons provided HHS physical reports and reviewed new revenue data. She said that the revenue and expenses are still coming in, so the numbers are not quite final for 2025. There were no board-appointed committee updates, and a future agenda item would be approval of the all-staff training day in May. That was the end of the meeting, and we got to drive home through a tremendous snowstorm, and I've never in my life driven 35 miles an hour on Highway 77, but I did that night. That's the end of my report.
Well, we're glad you made it safely. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for all of us.
Number 17, Economic Development and Extension, Ms. Hessel.
All right, Economic Development met March 9th. The Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau report was Ms. Simons reported on the current campaigns, video views and demand generation. She spoke about the upcoming spring campaigns and the hosting of the governor's opener. That would be the fishing opener. Mr. Kinsley asked if the governor would be traveling the roads of southern Wisconsin. I think Southern County. I think Sawyer County is what is meant there, but okay. The Northwest Regional Planning Report, Mr. Johnson reported on the Water Resource Plan, Environmental Services Program, and the Strategic Assessment. Mr. Duffy inquired on federal grant impacts. The Sawyer County LCO Development Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Lamore was not present, so I read his report on the Thrive Grant update, the lumber exchange update, and the forestry revitalization update. It passed the House in February, and then it just passed the Senate on the 17th. So it goes to the governor's desk tomorrow. Trail report, motorized. Mr. Newman reported the trails have been officially closed as of March 6th to both snowmobile and ATV, UTV use. He summarized the season ending, the local club events and fundraisers. Mr. Duffy reported on the recent Berkey events. There was no correspondences, and our next meeting is April 6th.
Thank you. Number 18, Sawyer County Administrative Committee. Letter A, Administrative Committee Report. The committee met last Thursday. Ms. Klein from the clerk gave us a written report plus an update on the preparations for the April election, one-on-one training with municipality clerks and updates if needed, and also the county website. I'm going to read what Mr. Gary Elliott writes for the committee because I really enjoy what he writes, and they are busy down there. So Mr. Elliott provided a written report of February department activities, 521 phone calls, 779 letter, emails, and faxes sent, 178 office visits. The contracts have been steadily increasing. There's 30 disability claims that have been filed to date with the reward of $94,606.72 awards in favor of the veterans. Valentines were delivered to the area veterans. The department is also co-hosting counseling sessions with La Crosse Center, hosting coffee and conversations, and hosting a Northern Wisconsin tribal VSO training for 20 counties. The social media report was provided. The next, I enjoy what he does down there, and he does a good job. Veterans Tribute was talked about. We have received 9 proposals for the tearing down of the old building that we were talking about, and we accepted a bid, and it's moving forward. Committee design discussion, there was some items looked at, and it'll be talked about again next month when we meet. We received a report from Mr. Colson on the IT department, Health, Human Resources gives us a report, and it'll be discussed on the tax levy freeze, which is the same thing we had from the Finance Committee. And that concludes my report. Next item is County Administrator's report.
Chairman, I had a question on your report, sir.
Yes.
Under Human Resources report, I've had several people contact me. It states here that the county has been receiving high-quality applicants for open positions. And several of these applicants have contacted me on why they're not getting notified or told that they're overqualified. There's no response
Okay,
on several people that called me.
all right.
And they're looking for work and they feel they're qualified for these positions, but there's no reply to their application.
We'll have to check on that.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it
Thank
to our,
you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
All right, thank you. On my report here, I'll start with personnel. We had a department head meeting yesterday. I did a professional development piece on both department and organizational culture. Got really good feedback from that from people and thought it helped them. And I gave them, we did some exercises during the meeting, and then I gave them some assignments for the next 30 days, and we'll see how that goes. Moving on to economic development, Adam Lamore, who is the executive director of the Sawyer County LCO Economic Development Corp., has announced that he is resigning at, I believe, May 1st. Just want to thank him for all his years of service and leadership there and wish him well in his future. It's been mentioned, but the 60th annual Governor's Fishing Opener is going to be held in Sawyer County on Nelson Lake. On Friday night, May 1st, I will be attending a fishing opener banquet, so I'm looking forward to that. And then the Birkebeiner had a great event, 13,000 skiers, record times, and I always love seeing all the activity on Main Street and beyond. Marshall does not apparently, but Probably more of a headache for him. Finance, we're nearly done closing out 2025. We still have some invoices coming in and some grant money and other things on the revenue side, but we're getting very close. We will have recommendations for transfers for April meetings. With connections, I was able to welcome the Northwest Region Veteran Service Officers that was mentioned earlier at their meeting on February 27th. I believe there were about 20 people there. It was nice to meet all of them and welcome them to Sawyer County and thank them for all the work that they do. And then I had a Zoom with city and county management, other people on Friday the 6th of March. And we just get together and talk about what's going on and challenges and opportunities that are coming our way. A little bit of an update on the radio network. The work is underway. We meet bi-weekly. And we're still working to get access onto the WOGB tower. The TGB has expressed interest in making that a priority for them, so we're still working on that. Carbon credits, we haven't heard anything on that in a while, but I do have a meeting with ANU next week on the 23rd to kind of get an update there. I have heard that Bayfield got a check last month sometime, and we're about a year behind them, so we're hopefully gonna see something coming in, if not by the end of this year, early next year. And as was mentioned, the demo for the Veterans Tribute was awarded to JR Excavating. They had a proposal of $19,200. The admin committee did give a contingency up to $25,000 on that, just in case we run into anything. Hopefully we do not. I don't foresee anything because we're not rebuilding where we would need foundation there. It's just slab on grade. I did meet with Excel after admin meeting last week, and that will be a very simple disconnect, reconnect, so that won't add cost either. And, I do want to mention, it was briefly mentioned that at finance and admin, we separated finance director from administrator. A year ago, we wanted to save a position, and at the time, I didn't feel Ms. Zine was ready to take that role on of financial director. Now working with her another year, training and going through things, she is ready. So we did separate that out. We still are committing to not hiring that position back, so we're still down a position, which is what we committed to. So we're grateful for that, and she will do a wonderful job. She's already been doing a lot of the work. I'm just kind of gradually turning over. She's ready, and she's ready now. And then at CJCC, I think this was mentioned earlier, but this is kind of a shout out. The reported unemployment rate at time of booking is 67%. And I know a year ago, when I started attending those meetings, it was between 80 and 90%. So it's good that, we're seeing, it's been a gradual decrease too. It's not that it just dropped down to this, but people are working and that helps everything. And one last thing with CJCC is we are seeking another grant opportunity for the deflection program. So that concludes my update. Any questions?
Thank you. Number 19, Board Appointment Committee updates.
Northwest Regional Planning Commission. On January 27th, I received an email from Sheldon Johnson, Executive Director of Northwest Regional Planning Commission, stating that the commission has contracted with the Southeast Regional Directors Institute to design and facilitate a strategic assessment of the Planning Commission. And the purpose of the assessment is to identify ways to enable the Planning Commission to be more relevant and helpful to its owners, the local governments of the region, and to strengthen the region in general. And the first step in the process will be to conduct a series of online surveys between January 27th and February 13th. And I didn't respond to that right away, and on February 6th, I got an email saying last week I asked you to complete the survey and you better get it done by February 13th, so I did. And I thought that was going to be the end of it. But then, on February 16th, I was forwarded an email from Chairman Kinsley saying, yes, I will be attending. And I see the email, the first email came from Sheldon Johnson to Chairman Kinsley saying the commission is engaged in a strategic assessment, and the first step was a survey, and the next step is to hold 3 regional focus group meetings with up to 3 or 4 representatives from each county attending. So, and after that, Mr. Kinsley asked me if I'd be interested in attending, and I said, of course I would. So I made a point of going down to the focus group session at Spooner Health on March 6th. And I actually got there a little early because I thought it was starting at 9:30, and I think it started at 10 or something like that. So anyway, I had a chance to talk with Jim Youngquist, who was the facilitator from the Southeast Region Directors Institute. And he kind of explained, what it's all about. Basically, they've been doing it for years down there, just trying to figure out what they're doing right, what they are doing wrong, and what they shouldn't be doing at all, kind of thing. So, and they've been working with more and more organizations like Northwest Regional Planning, and they've spread across larger parts of the country, helping organizations such as Northwest Regional Planning do a better job for all concerned. So, we actually had 5 representatives from Sawyer County attend that meeting. Chris Ruckdoschel from the Chamber of Commerce was there. Stacy Hessel was there, representing, I think, the school board and Senator Quinn's office in addition to the county board. So Monica Johnson was there from North Lakes Community Clinic, and Chairman Kinsley and myself. So many members of the focus group had responded to the survey, and the survey was focused on identifying major challenges to the folks across the 10-county area served by the Planning Commission. And the facilitator happened to mention a couple times, I think, that the Northwest Regional Planning Commission is the largest planning group he's worked with, and it's the second now that he's worked with in the state of Wisconsin. There are many issues facing our region up here, but the number one issue was housing, which isn't a big surprise, but healthcare, especially senior healthcare, employment, the aging population we've got, things like waste disposal and recycling. Those are the issues discussed by the group. Monica Johnson mentioned that the Tamarack Health Housing Project is coming along well, but one of the problems they're facing is that because of strict income guidelines associated with federal funding for the project, many potential occupants are finding they're slightly over the income level to qualify for a reduced rent. So it's been a bit of a challenge, I guess, in getting the project occupied. Attendees in general seem to feel that Northwest Regional Planning provides the region with valuable services and data that can be helpful in finding solutions to many of the region's challenges. All in all, it was a very interesting session, and I don't know if Chairman Kinsley or Ms. Hessel has any comments or anything to add, but I found it very interesting, and I know next week, Wednesday, the executive committee has a meeting down there, and Mr. Youngquist is going to be there, kind of giving a review of the assessment that was held for the 10-county area. And again, there were 3 separate focus group sessions. We were one of the 3 focus groups.
Thank you. Also add that Mr. Sheldon Johnson was asked to come to the full county board meeting sometime in the future, probably this summer, to give an update exactly what they do and can do for our community. Thank you. Mr. Buckles.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I just got a quick look at Nemacoggin, LCO Transit, what's going on out there. Ridership for February 2026 was 4,644. The staff is currently 30 employees, 16 full-time, 14 part-time. Driver training is scheduled for the 24th. And Julie and Darren had a meeting with WisDOT regarding the construction of the new pole building garage. They gave them an insight of realistic expectation on the anticipated time of the completion. Possible completion date would be August of 2027. And when WisDOT will come up for the ribbon cutting. They also spoken to the Hayward Chamber of Commerce to put the transit on the schedule for the August 2027 for the business after 5. There, that's a little update.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Ms. Wilson, your light's on. Did you have something?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
That's fine. Also, want to let the board members know, Mr. Markin sent out a email. I got an email from the counties association that they take on members of county boards to be a member of the insurance. I don't know all the details on it, but if someone wants to be from Sawyer County representing on these insurance programs, they certainly should look at the email Mr. Markin sent. Did you have something?
I was waiting for the correspondence and that's,
Okay,
I don't know if we're there yet.
we are now. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to make mention that today was the funeral for a decorated veteran from Sawyer County. His name is Tim Zurn, Z-U-R-N. He was a Purple Heart recipient and a great Coffee and Conversations member. So I just wanted that to be noted that he was a great veteran of our county and his funeral was today.
Thank you.
Chairman, I got a question real quick.
Yes.
Are you comfortable with the progress of your ad hoc committee? I know there was a brief summary that Mr. Evans gave there, but I'm just concerned that are we addressing all these issues regarding our tower and
Thank you for
projects?
asking. No. An example, we met on February 2nd. I thought we had a very nice meeting. They put together a route to present to the tribal council, and I received feedback, but they had a couple questions. They had approved one route, but they had some questions on it, and we'd address it next time we met. We set up a meeting for March 2nd. When we arrived to meet at the meeting, I received an email from a gentleman saying, I don't think we can meet today because some of the board members can't meet. I said, we're already in the parking lot. So we met with one tribal member at that time. We were going to meet on March 16th, and we had a snowstorm, so we didn't meet. I was trying to set up another meeting for March 30th. And when I talked to them on Monday, they told me to get back to me tomorrow. And it's been 3 days and I've got nothing back. Am I satisfied? No. I still want to meet. I want to try to work some things out with them, but it's hard to do. But I'm still trying to do that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. One more item that I think everybody needs to be aware of. Elections are April 7th. This board needs to fulfill their commitment through the month of April to the committee meetings. The next county board meeting is April 21st. It's a Tuesday. That's when the new board gets set. So you're aware you still need to attend your April meetings. Okay? So you're aware of that. Future agenda items?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I had brought it to your attention before, and now that we're going to be doing the switch over, I really want to look at times for different committees. And so I think that's the time we can, as we get the new people in.
So how that could work. I mean, we're open for ideas. How it could work, you usually have to meet your first time at that committee. And on the agenda will be to elect the chair and vice chair of that committee. And then times, if you want to change the times of the meetings, you certainly can address it at that time. We have to have enough time so that we can get the public notice so that they know if times do change, when they are. Yes.
When do we need to be sworn in, and can we do it by phone? Have we figured that out yet?
Ms. Klein, can you address how we might do that?
I just attended a county clerk's meeting with, there are 72 county clerks, and there were probably 36 or 40 on that meeting, and these things were discussed. It was basically a session talking about seating the new board. And they just do their one swearing in, and they said because the statute says that the county board is sworn in at that annual meeting date, that's what they do. No one cares about that 5-day, I don't know if that's just for municipal. Municipal says that when the clerk sends you your notice of election, from the day you receive it, you have 5 days to take your oath, or you could consider you forfeited your office. The other clerk said that's not an issue for them in the other counties. I don't know what the conclusion is to that, but they suggested I send the notice of election and time that so that you receive that within within 5 days of the 21st. So we could do it that way. But if anyone's going to be out of town, if that's an issue, then we got to talk about that.
Would it be within the 5 days of the 7th, not the 21st, correct? Because isn't it,
No, so the 7th is the election, but the election's not finished until the last, there are deadlines. So provisional ballots are counted all the way till 5 PM on Friday. And then at that point, there's the County Board of Canvass. So you could officially say there's a day in there somewhere, and I don't know if it's where the statute says, you're not necessarily confirmed elected until all of those boxes are checked. At that point, then the letter could be sent to you. I think I have a deadline, but whatever that deadline is, let's say we could do this, because this is what they said they do. Time that so that you receive your notice of election closer to the 25th or the 21st. That's what they all said they do. So I'll check those dates and we'll see. And if not, the other choice is come in my office. We can swear the oath at my office and you still do the ceremonial one here with Judge Yackel.
so if he's not going to be here, that was what I think the question was. If you had somebody that was online, could they stand up and be sworn in? Is that what you're asking?
Do it need to be here in person is what I'm asking, right?
That would be up to the chairman, I guess. I think you need to sign your oath.
I was in Italy last time, this time, and Judge Monica Isham swore me in like right before I left, Jim, so just got set up a time with her, and I think it was in the 5-day limit that Liz was talking about.
If you're going to be gone all the way through from the 7th until the 21st, then we need to figure something out.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, thank you for your valuable time. Thank you, Mr. Magnus and Mr. Duffy, for your valuable time on serving the county boards. Meeting adjourned.